Hello everyone, this is Indrajit Ganguly and welcome to your history class. Dear students, today I am going to start the last topic from the 6th chapter of history, topic number 8 from NCERT, New Devotional Paths, Dialogue and Descent in Northern India. I hope you remember that in my first video from this chapter, I have discussed with you about the development of Bhakti movement in India. I hope you remember that Bhakti movement is basically a reformation movement which sought to reform Hinduism and challenge the orthodox Brahmanical practices. And I hope you remember that Bhakti movement basically originated in South India, right? And later on it spread different parts of India, such as East India, North India and West India, right? And Bhakti movement was popularized by different Bhakti saints like Baba Guru Nanak, Kabir, Ramanand, Ramanuja, Raidas, Sri Chaitanya Dev, Shankara Deva, Shankaracharya, Mirabai and many more. But in your book, that is topic number 8 from NCERT, there are 3 case studies and all these 3 case studies are very important for your board examination, both for 3 marks and 8 marks question. So I am requesting you to please give more focus on the topic number 8 for the long answer type question basically. Okay, in your book, that is topic number 8, there are 3 case studies. Number 1, that is Baba Guru Nanak. Number 2, that is Kabir, and number 3 is Mirabai. Okay, I will discuss with you about these 3 case studies one by one. So first of all, I will start with about the contribution of Baba Guru Nanak in the Bhakti movement. Baba Guru Nanak was born in a Hindu merchant family in a village called Nankana Sahib near the river in the predominantly Muslim Punjab. On your screen you can see this is the location of Nankana Sahib, right? And it is presently situated in Pakistan. Okay, so basically Baba Guru Nanak was born in Nankana Sahib, it is recently Pakistan, and he was born in a Hindu merchant family, right? Let me show you the birthplace of Baba Guru Nanak. On your screen, this is the birthplace of Baba Guru Nanak. That is your left place. This is the birthplace of Baba Guru Nanak, and it is a heritage place, right? But Pakistan government did not show their intention to develop this place. So this was a condition of these heritage place, Nankana Sahib. And on the right side is the Gurudwara that was situated in Nankana Sahib, Pakistan. Okay, so this was a condition of the birthplace of Baba Guru Nanak. Baba Guru Nanak was the most popular Bhakti saint in this context. Okay, he traveled widely and spent most of his time among Sufis and Bhaktas. The message of Baba Guru Nanak is spelled out in his hymns and teachings. These suggested that he advocated a form of Nirguna Bhakti. Remember students, I hope you remember that in my first class, in my first videos, I have discussed with you there are 2 forms of Bhakti. One is Shaguna Bhakti, another one is Nirguna Bhakti, right? Baba Guru Nanak and Kabir, they both advocated the Nirguna Bhakti. What does it mean? It means the abstract form of devotion, abstract form of worship, right? Baba Guru Nanak rejected sacrifices, ritual births, image worship, austerities and scriptures of both Hindus and Muslims. According to Baba Guru Nanak, the Almighty, or we can say the Absolute, according to Baba Guru Nanak, the Almighty, which means Rab, R-A-B, Rab, okay? Rab had no gender or no form, okay? I hope you remember that in my first class I have told you Allah, Ram, Jesus, whatever it may be, it has the different names of the God. Okay, the God is one. God is this universal power, and it had no gender and it had no form. Okay, God is one and it had different names. So Baba Guru Nanak is also advocating the same thing and the same concept. Baba Guru Nanak organized his followers into a community, and I hope you know that the community and the followers of Baba Guru Nanak is known as the Sikh community. Okay, when Baba Guru Nanak preached his message, in the Indian subcontinent, and the subcontinent and basically northern part of India was ruled by the Muslim rulers, right? The Delhi Sultanate rulers, they ruled the northern part of India, and later on it was captured by the Mughals. So we can say that when Baba Guru Nanak preached his messages, India was under the rule of Muslims. So during the Muslim rule in India, Baba Guru Nanak introduced a new type of religion which is known as Sikhism. Remember students, the Sikhism basically became a new type of religion which sought to challenge both the Orthodox Hinduism and Orthodox Islam. Baba Guru Nanak proposed a simple way to connect the divine by remembering and repeating the divine name. Obviously, I have told you that in the Bhakti movement, passionate devotion and love for the God is required, nothing else. No mantras, no slokas, no rituals, practices are required. Only passionate devotion and love is required. So Baba Guru Nanak is also advocating the same thing, and he was doing this thing through hymns, and that is known as Shabd in Punjab. Okay. Baba Guru Nanak also gave importance to the open kitchen, which is known as langar. When you visit the Golden Temple that is situated in Amritsar, which is also known as Harminder Sahib, you can find there is an open kitchen. Langar is there. So what is the concept of langar? The concept of langar is that any person belonging to any caste, creed, religion, gender, he can sit and eat together. Okay, so basically the Sikhism and the new Bhakti tradition challenged the caste system. That's why the open concept or open langar concept is also there. I hope you remember that same concept was there in the Sufism, right? So after Baba Guru Nanak, he appointed one of his disciples. His name was Guru Angad. Guru Angad succeeded him as the preceptor or guru, and this practice was followed nearly 200 years. So you can see these are the 10 Sikh gurus who basically popularized the Sikh movement all over India and apart from India. Okay, the first Sikh guru was Guru Nanak. I hope you understand that, and the last Sikh guru was Guru Gobind Singh. Okay, he is the 10th Sikh guru or 10th Sikh preceptor. Okay, the 5th Sikh guru, his name was Guru Arjan, he compiled Baba Guru Nanak hymns along with those of 4 successors and other religious poets like Baba Farid. Remember students, Baba Farid is a Sufi saint. Ravidas is a Bhakti saint. Kabir is a Bhakti saint. In the book called Adi Granth Sahib, and these hymns basically known as Guru Bani. Clear? It is very important. Okay. Later on, in the late 17th century, the 10th Sikh Guru, Guru Gobind Singh, included the composition of 9th Guru, Guru Tegh Bahadur. Remember students, Guru Gobind Singh was the son of Guru Tegh Bahadur, and and these scriptures was later on renamed as Guru Granth Sahib. Remember students, Guru Granth Sahib is the holy text of Sikhism. Okay, when you visit any Sikh Gurudwara, you can find there was Guru Granth Sahib is open, because Guru Granth Sahib was holy text, and it included the compositions of all the 10 Sikh Gurus and also the composition of several Sufi saints and Bhakti saints. Okay, and another important contribution of the Guru Gobind Singh was he introduced the Khalsa Panth system. Now the question is, what is Khalsa Panth, right? Khalsa Panth is basically the military organization of the Sikh. Why so? Because I have told you, India was under the Mughal control when these Sikh Gurus popularized the Sikh tradition in India. So there was a conflicting relationship between the Sikhs and Mughals. Remember students, Akbar was basically a secular minded person. Akbar promoted all types of religion in India. Okay, there was no problem during the time of Akbar. But during the time of Jahangir executed the 9th Sikh Guru, Guru Tegh Bahadur. So the relationship between Mughals and Sikhs became conflicting. So Guru Gobind Singh introduced Khalsa Panth. It is a military organization, and by this a Sikh can handle sword for protecting himself. I hope you know that in a secure place, basically in the airport, knife, swords, all these types of things, they are strictly prohibited, right? But a Sikh can carry a knife or a sword with him because it is their religious symbol. Okay, so in this way the Sikh he organized the Khalsa Panth. So the Sikh religion became a challenge to the Orthodox Islam in India. Okay, our next topic, that is Kabir Das. Those students are having Hindi, they are basically familiar with the name of Kabir because from the Doha of Kabir. Remember student, Kabir is one of the most outstanding examples of a poet saint in this context. The meaning of Kabir in Arabic is great. Okay, Kabir Das was raised by a poor Muslim family belonging to the community of weavers who were relatively recent converts to Islam. Now, this became a huge controversy with Kabir, that Kabir was, who was Kabir? He belonged to Islam or he belonged to Hindu? And this controversy continued till after his death. Okay, remember students, the Kabir compositions basically compiled in 3 important texts. It is very important. Remember students, I am repeating once again. Kabir composition was compiled in 3 important texts. Number 1, that is Kabir Bijak. Kabir Bijak. This text was preserved by Kabir Panth. Who is Kabir Panth? Kabir Panth is basically a sect or a group who followed Kabir, and they preserved this text in Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh. Next, another text was Kabir Granthavali. This text was preserved by another sect of Rajasthan, and their name was Dadu Panth. What is their name? Dadu Panth. Okay, and I have already told you that his many compositions are found in Adi Granth Sahib. Okay, and you can also find this in the Guru Granth Sahib also. Kabir criticized the orthodox and conservative rituals of both Hinduism and Islam. He criticized the idol worship and polytheism. Okay, and also use the Sufi concept of zikr, which means chanting the name of God and passionate devotion of God, and to express the Hindu practice Nam Shimaran for the devotion of God. Okay, and that's it for Kabir. Remember students, Baba Guru Nanak and Kabir both are very important for 8 mark question. Our last topic from this chapter, that is Mirabai. Mirabai is also important. I hope you are familiar with the name of Mirabai. Mirabai also a Bhakti saint. She was belonged to Rajasthan. There is a story about Mirabai and she expressed her love to Lord Krishna, and that's why she became very popular Bhakti saint in Rajasthan, basically in Western India. There was a story about Mirabai, that is, she was a Rajput princess from Marta in Marwar, who was married against her wishes to prince of the Shishodia clan of Mewar. Okay, she defied her husband and did not submit to the traditional role of wife and mother, instead recognizing Lord Krishna as her lover. Her in-laws tried to poison her, but she escaped from the palace to live as a wandering singer, and she composed songs, and these songs are characteristics by intense expression of emotions. Her preceptor, Mirabai's preceptor, was Raidas, and he was a leather worker. Okay, that indicates that Mirabai basically criticized all norms of caste prejudices, and after rejecting all her comforts, Mirabai donned with white robes of a widow or the saffron robe of the renouncer. Okay, this is it for today. In my next class, I will provide you question answers, source based question and class notes. Thank you and have a nice day.